I want to make this look like this. One's an A-line SD-90MAC, and the other one's the real Spirit of the Union Pacific locomotive, which is an SD-70. Well, I found a decal kit. I'm going to do my best to make it work. I got a pile of parts here. Let's see if I can make a really ugly looking thing look really nice. I'm Ron, Classic Model Trains. Hang out and check out my store. I received this body shell a couple years ago. It used to be a Conrail. It used to sit up over in this corner over here for those of you that might have remembered seeing it. It was just, what was it? It was this and it was this and it was sitting on this and it had this on it and it was blue and it was ugly. So I decided I wanted to repaint it. And somehow I managed to come across what Spirit of the Union Pacific looks like. And that paint job just impressed the heck out of me. Now, for those of you that don't know this, the Spirit of the Union Pacific is an SD-70 AC. This chassis that I got here is from A-line. It's a kit that uses Athearn locomotives, but these bodies were narrower than the bigger blue box ones, so they are more prototypical. This is an SD-90MAC. So the difference between these two, it's about 8 feet. Well, I looked at it real close and I figured, well, that ain't ever going to stop me. I'll just make one of these colored areas in here just a little bit longer. And I think the decal sets are going to work. So when I was busy doing the ultrasonic cleaning on this thing in the hot water, I managed to melt something that isn't still currently here. It came apart in more pieces than I thought that it would. Like, it just kept falling apart. And then I bent this right here. Yeah, it's warped. There, you can see it right there. I went to the A-line website. Now, mind you, this was about 1.5 years ago. Couldn't find new body kits for it. I couldn't find anything at this time. Maybe they were low on production or low on labor. It's just, I don't know. Just today, I went back and looked all over, and they got brand new kits available again. And all the parts that a guy would need again, they're back on there. But last year when I was trying to put this together, they didn't. So I dug around and I found these. Found that part right there. This anti-climb rails right there. Rooting around. Then I happened to come across the A-line site and they had a new radiator. All I needed was this part right here. They sent me all the pieces I needed, plus the pieces that I didn't know I needed, and the pieces that I already bought. So it's all in there. I used to have trucks for it. You know how you just got drawers and drawers of Athearn stuff laying around? And remember I made that video where I built them all up to see how many I could build out of spare parts? And then I sold them all. And then I didn't have any trucks. So I found this here eBay listing for a complete set of trucks. Because apparently trucks new are expensive. They're like $55 from Athearn for a set. So this was coming in a little cheaper. I ordered them up. They showed up. And they didn't have any gears inside of them. Oh. But I contacted this fantastic seller. He looked around for me. He didn't have them. He bought new gears and had them drop shipped to me. So now we got the upper drives, drive gears, these right here, all this stuff right here. And with any luck, I'll be able to make a drivetrain with it. So what I'm doing is I'm really building up an old junkyard dog here is what I am. 1,000 pieces that I spent too much money on individually. I could have just bought a complete one for less, but it's not going to be mine because, you know, I like to build stuff. We're going to paint this up. I'm going to get started on it. I'm starting early this week. It's Thursday because we got to prep that body. Spray it, wait for it to dry. Spray it, wait for it to dry. Build trucks in between. Let's get started. These are all the parts that I need. These are all from A-line right here, so all those extra ones I don't. And a couple are pretty straightforward. Oh, look at this. They got paint where the glue has to go to hold this on. So we got to clean all that out. Mercy, mercy. I got that. I mean, this is easy enough. And this is easy enough. And this is easy enough. But all the other stuff, that's not so easy. This, what is all this? Hand railing things. Why is there extra? A lot of air tanks. So I'm going to stare at pictures of an SD-90 on the computer, and I'm going to try to figure it out. I'm going to go through and look at pictures of the Spirit of the Union Pacific to see what I can put on and what I can't put on while I'm painting or not painting. so we can get this body work moving forward. Well, after several hours of gluing and digging on the Google machine to figure out where the stuff goes, this is what I got. We're gonna have to leave this off. This guy's gonna go right over here, but we need to run that decal through there. We need to get the paint in there, so we'll have to mess with that later on. This is one of them models where the couplers actually end up holding the frame onto the body. And I like to come in here with the old glue machine. Once I put a little bit of tack around where it needs to go, if I can come in from the back side where it won't be seen, I like to lay a big old bead. Well, you know, as big a bead as I can lay with this, just to give it the extra. You know, I'll come across through here. I don't want it to be fragile with my big mitts. I want it to be able to withstand me handling it. So we're gonna wash this down now with some soap and water and let it dry. This piece, because they're gonna go into primer. And then these truck frames here, it seems that they didn't have the brake chambers on them. I guess they were brand new. So I had to figure out how they went, and it only goes one way, and that way's like this, which doesn't seem to make any sense at all with any pictures that I've ever found online. It'll never be prototypical because it doesn't have any number lights up here. No. You can fake it out back here some. I need to try to find a window kit for it. The windows I got are all buggered up. They're not gonna pass mustard. Let's send it into primer. Prep it, prime it. A little warm water here, old toothbrush, and I got a light mix of soapy water in here. So we can get all my oils from my fingerprints off, because I gotta touch the heck out of it. All any dirt that might have been on there. We're gonna try to do one of them halfway decent paint jobs here again on it. So of course we want it to look as hopefully nice as possible. We get it? Mostly it's hard to hold on to without touching the outside part. Goodness, I gotta tell you, this thing looks better now than it ever has. The paint that was originally, I lost all the footage to the taking the paint off to the original beginning of this. It was thick. It was put on with a brush. Got to get all the components, polish and dry them all up. Don't forget this feller. Look at that. No holes for the motor. What's the guy do with that? Paint is going to be on these frame rails right down through here. Then we got to do all these truck covers, wash them. They might have mold release from when they were in the molds being pressed. But we don't want them this color because that's ugly. Get these to the drying rack. Oh sure, this will help just a tiny bit. I know smokers that could put more air out than that. Goodness. Here's our truck assemblies. One is assembled. I took this off so I could test fit this to check for driveline stuff, which is another story. But this is this one that's taken apart, and looks like it's got newer lube in it, but we're gonna go ahead and take all that out with the odorless mineral spirits and Q-tips here, non-tactical. Wipe all this stuff out. It doesn't look like it's gonna be real bad, but I'm not gonna make you guys sit through it. It'll probably take me 10 minutes per truck, and I'm using this one as a reference because I didn't take it apart, or if I did, I forgot. It's got 2 clips here, a clip here, a clip on the bottom. It looks like the pickups are right there. I hope there's more to it than that because I don't see where they're getting, off of this right here, the bearing blocks. This is metal. And then going up through here. So I think these are the Genesis ones, I think. I don't know. We're gonna do some of this action to them, clean them all out. Odorless mineral spirits evaporates. It's basically a solvent. And then we'll relube them and reassemble. We got these all cleaned up. I see I need 4 little gears and 1 big gear per truck. We're gonna pull out the Super Lube multi-purpose synthetic grease. The reason we use this is because it won't break down the nylon plastics in there. Oh, good thing it's a grease. I would have spilled it all over the place. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5 little posts right here. We're going to lube these up. We're gonna put just a little bit less than too much on them. Some guys think I over grease whenever I'm doing this. It's like, well, did you ever think that I've got it zoomed in where it's the size of your 65-inch TV and you're like, golly, instead of, here I am with a toothpick putting it on just the tiniest little bit. Yeah, consider that. A little bit less than too much. Now I just looked up that nylon doesn't actually need to be lubricated. The Google machine said it, but it also says you can extend the life of the gears if you do lubricate them, or if they're under heavy load, or high RPM, or you want long life out of them. It just makes sense. Give them some. Give them some. This is always the hardest part right here, because you got to get it on, and this is why it might look like I'm over greasing it, because there's clumps of stuff laying around, but need some to go through all the gears. Nice thing about this grease is it will track around, traces through all of them, and will eventually have the faces of all of these lubricated. And then when you can see a little sheen on it, or the elasticity or adhesion of the grease between the two gears, like a paste being pulled apart, that's when you know you got it. This one on this side, yeah, okay. Everybody still turning? You sure are. You can even get in here and throw some in there, throw some down here. That'll spread around as it does laps on the track too. Got a little one that goes up here, holds the tower together. Another little one that goes up here. We're gonna put the axles in, and this is where it gets tough, because these little blocks never stand up. You always gotta jig them in there, get them flat. I've already inspected them. We don't have any cracks in them. You know, I didn't put them under a microscope or nothing, but I believe that they're serviceable. I would like to give a little taste to each one of these right here. Just something to get them started. Sure. Put this cover on. Loving it. There's lots of covers covering all these gears up to keep the dirt and the grime out of them. This is my first time. That's why I left this truck put together, so I can eyeball it. Oh, see, I had it backwards just the whole time. That's why I never take two of them apart at one time. There, that one, all ready to go. Now these are brand new worm gears because of the way that this looks right here. That means they got brand new thrust washers in them, and I want to make sure that they are lubricated properly. Some here at 2700 times zoom, so it looks like I'm putting in way too much. Put this block on. This will end up in there. This cover will end up snapped on it. That's what's going to hold it in the chassis, but I've got them serviced up now. It's going to be a couple days before I get that chassis painted. You stay locked in there now. I don't understand why you're being a nonconformist. Well, how about if we spin it around? Will that help? Okay. Now I'll take this one apart, service it up the exact same way as this one. We'll have it ready to go. Well, I've got my side draft paint booth all set up over here, because I'm doing this at 9:35 at night. Usually I sit outside and do this, but I ain't got no lights. So we're gonna do this. I eyeballed that picture and I come up with the fact that it's mostly silver, light silver, dark silver, two colors underneath the decals. So that's what we're gonna do here. I'll have to let that dry some. Can I flip it now? Sure, because you can't see that part. I should learn to use an airbrush. I like to take the truck frames and put them on some tape, so that way that the air pressure from the gun doesn't blow them all over the place. Get them from all sides. Now for this one, I'll probably blow it. Don't think that way. Little light coats. It doesn't need all of its color all at once. That's what they say. Sit back here, give it some, let it dry, do it again. Maybe I'll just do this first coat and let it dry tonight. I can hit it tomorrow out in the sun. We'll leave that, because the back part's going to be painted actually a darker color, so we'll focus on the lighter color up in here, then we'll tape it, and then we'll add a second color back over here. It says it's paint and primer, so I figure I just basically primed it also. It's colored primer. These guys wouldn't lie to me, would they? About halfway through the video right now. Now's an excellent time to do Classic Model Train's Classic Model of the Week, although this gal wasn't a model, but do you guys know who this is? If you do, put it in the comments down below. If you don't, hang out till the end. I'll let you know who it is. Let's get back into this video. We've got the second coat of silver on up in this area here. So this is what I'm going to try to mimic. So I cut these out so I can use them as a pattern. And I'm hoping we're going to come down through here. It's going to go, oh, it's nice and extra long too. Bonus. So this area through here, I need to tape it off for our color change. And it looks like it's going to come through here. Now this one doesn't have to be perfect because this decal is going to hide the color change, but we got to make sure that we get it in the right spot. Color happens behind the cab. So I'm guessing like this. I'll do the same basic line over here, making sure that we get the color swap where it's going to take place. This one's going to be a little easier. Through there, tape it off, spray it. Sure. The masking line. I used this here, the Rust-Oleum metallic aluminum, because it looked shiny. It's just what I had. Then I just got back from the store to get some dark gray gloss. We'll put that on the back side here. A couple coats, hopefully. We'll pull the tape off and we can start decaling with any luck. It's daytime outside now, so now I can use the outside paint booth. God's paint booth. Time to start decaling. I got everything cut out now, laid out with the way it's supposed to be. I got this thing here to look at because they're supposed to tell me where everything goes. Plus I got real pictures. This is what it looks like now at the end of day 2 painting. And that gray it's glossy. Yes, it is. And the silver, I guess the whole thing is gloss. Warm water. We're going to use tweezers, microsol, microset, paintbrush to help move things around, and a clean toothpick. I'm going to throw some on, and then we'll come back, and then I'll just kind of show you what we're doing here. I got to get my practice in. Here's what we got going on so far. And I've messed up about every piece of it. What really helps bring these things around is when you put this microsol on them right here, because it gets them to shrink into the gaps. You can see up here, there's a lot of microsol on that one, and you can see all the rivets on this upper one right here. It's pretty smooth along this section. We're getting ready to shut down for the night, so I'm going to microsol them up real good and give it a shot. I got to repaint this because the decal that I did put on it broke into 1,000 pieces and then immediately dried to it. And then I tried to get it scraped off, and I scraped up the paint because that's my heavy-handedness. I'm not good at detail stuff. End of day 1 of decaling, also the end of painting, but I got that one right there again. We are getting ready to start day 3 of this project, but it's day 2 of paint and decal. Well, paint's done, decaling. And there's things, the learning curve has gone up like this. I like to show you the mistakes that I've made, because when you watch somebody make a mistake, then it helps you to remember what not to do. Here's things that I've blown. Let me show you this right here. Right here is the directions that Microscale has provided for putting this on. It's got a nice shot of the rear. It's got a good shot of the side. It's got a good shot of the front. Here's a picture that I got offline. Here's a picture of what one looks like in real life. And I've got half of it on right over here right now. I realized this last night while I was enjoying a carbonated beverage. Somehow, I blew it in this area right here. The decals showed up cut like this. So for some reason, I thought that they would go up on the roof. Oops, I got holding the wrong end here. That they would go up on the roof and form a point. And they're long enough to go up on the roof, come all the way down the side, and have some extra left over. There's that old expression there, don't let being wrong stop you from being certain. Yeah, I absolutely believe that I seen a picture online somewhere that showed them stripes joined at a point on the top. And then I spent 25 minutes trying to find the picture, and no, absolutely not. And then I didn't know what to do. I'm so far deep into this thing that I'm hoping that the majority of the people will never know that it's supposed to not look like that, except for you guys. But, that's just between us. More things that are wrong. This rear decal that goes back here I repainted it now. Gave it before I went to bed. The decal will cover up that change and the paint things. It's a big one. And that thing blew up into 57 pieces. And then some of it stuck and some of it didn't. Over 2.5 years ago, looks like a video that I launched on January 2nd, 2023, Decaling 101. That's the very first time that I ever decaled something 2.5 years ago. And I made mistakes on that one too. Go figure. There is this nice feller that reached in. I went back to that video because I remember the comment because he told you how to correct this. Throw it up on the screen. Thanks to Adventures in Model Railroading over 2 years ago. He gave me some hints. Use a warm coffee cup to keep the decal water warm. Talks about not using use distilled water if you got hard water. And then it says use a hobby brand clear coat. I found that Krylon brand is way too thick. The age of the decal is important. If it's old, you should put a thin gloss coat over the sheet to help keep the decals intact. So I took that as a challenge accepted. This isn't Krylon, but it's not a hobby grade clear either. And I sprayed these. And if you get in close enough, you see how it blistered? Now, of course, it doesn't look this bad because I've zoomed in like 700%. Then I immediately noticed that, and I went, okay, I believe you now. So I just happened to have something not Rust-Oleum or Krylon laying around. And then I sprayed these. Let me see if I can zoom in on those. Yeah. Because I'm one of them guys that I'm like, no way, till I prove it to myself. So Adventures in Model Railroading, I believe you now. We're going to get back into more decaling today, and it's a slow process because I'm not that good at it. And I guess I'll just come up with the next dumb thing I do. I'll share that with you. And if I get more successes, then I'll show those all to you. Check back in with you in a little bit. Now, initially when I put this on, I just put the decal on it and I tried to make it fit, farting around, and then a lot of it, I was manhandling it and broke it. I made a paper shape of what the decal is, so that way I could cut it where I need it to be and I'll have a little better chance. And these bodies are different, this tail end, than the SD-90 is. I transferred it to this, I put the cuts in it, and I'm hoping for better results now. Nice hot warm water. And these curl, and this has been sprayed, they curl up like a bugger when you first put them in there. And I think that might have caused me some problems. We are going to micro set under it in the area that it's gonna go. And it never stays. Coming at it hard and fast. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this out, let it sit here and soak a little bit more. Get that paper glue to release. This is the part I hate the most, because this is where it all goes wrong, usually for me. It is somewhat in place, and if I can grab this edge and start to pull this out. Okay, it's loose. Hold it. Oh, that's a big old piece. Good Lord. Okay, a little heavy-handed. We need to move forward some. Decal is substantially stronger with that clear that I put on it. Somewhat success. Why the decal's not pushed all the way down along here, I'll never know. What do I got to do to roll it down? I already tore it like once. Do I just call it a day? Now these ends have got separate decals that are going to go on those. So I'm going to let that sit. Let the water evaporate out of it. We're going to keep moving on. And then I'm going to microsol it later on, where I can microsol more than just one decal at a time. Progress is being made. These decals, I cut them the exact same that they should have been, but they don't come up to the center there at all. So I farted around, I made this little pattern here to make sure that when I cut out, because I saved a scrap little piece right here, this is going to go up there and it's going to make this better. This is the one that comes to a point. I did manage to fix that one. Everything's following through on that. So we're going to be able to pull this off. One more step getting completed. I love how they can be rigid, hard to get off, and then some, you soak it the exact same amount of time, and then it's like, I'm not coming off. No. Okay. Now, if I can move this around some. Yeah, that worked out. Roll it to get the water out from under it. And after spraying these things with that clear, these decals are like bulletproof, and they're a lot stronger. I'm going to do that with every decal set that I do from now on. I'm learning by leaps and bounds. The thing I hate the most is sitting around waiting for it to dry. Takes forever. These tactical Q-tips are nice. Just using them to soak up the water and roll the decals down. Then once the decal's somewhat down and dry, probably 20 minutes from now, then I will put the microsol on them to get them to suck into the body lines so it looks like this. Oh yeah, over here, I just realized, well, I'll just put this stripe on right here, and then the part that was sticking out, I'll scrape it off. And now I got to touch it up because I scrape too hard. So that comfortable accident worked out quite well. Coming at you now, day 4, Sunday afternoon right now. I'm going to try to get this all finished up today. We got to get those trucks mounted up to that frame, that chassis on here, but there's a little dilemma. Let me show you guys. See, this frame right here has got this round disc. And apparently, maybe 100 years ago or so, I don't know, I've never seen one, there'd be a round disc sitting right here. And then when you put this top cap on, it'd just lock it all in. But this is the newer style truck. And according to the directions that I found from on the A-line site, we got to drill a hole right there in the center of this thing to put that truck frame into. I'm going to get all set up to do that. And to drill them holes, I'm going to try out my new drill press here. Not that it's been brand new, but it's been sitting out in a shed all the time because I never had any place to use it. Now that the train track's down, I can like expand my repair facility. I got this here from the Amazon. And the Amazon's got this thing called an associates program. This isn't like a commercial. This is just some information. All the tools that I use, I get from Amazon. And a lot of people like to reach out to me and they go, where'd you get that? What brand is that? If you go into the description section of the video, and you got to do it on a computer, I've got all the tools that I use listed in there from Amazon. It's a link. You click on the link, takes you to Amazon, directly to Amazon, no place other than Amazon. And if you happen to go, I really like that, and you buy it, they're going to give me like 3% of the thing, whatever it is. That's kind of a pretty good deal. It doesn't cost you 3% more. It doesn't cost you a dime more to buy the stuff than if you just stumbled upon it. That's Amazon's way of saying, hey, thanks for promoting our stuff. All the tools that I use, I got from Amazon. All the products I use, I got from Amazon. In the description section down below. I took my caliper and I measured the width of this here. Comes out to 11/32. So I want to go halfway through, which will be 11/64. So I just closed it up till I got to the 11/64. I bolted it down. I gave it a scratch, and you can see it right there. That is our destination. I'm going to put it down here, just gentle like. I don't want to scratch my paint, you know. They said use a number 50 drill bit. Number 50, what's that? Numbered drill bits. They sell them in sizes. Of course, you can't see this. I'm going from number 1, which looks to be like a 1/4 inch, down to a number 60. These are called machinist's numbers for numbered drill bits. So you got more steps so you can make things better. Amazon also. If you're looking for some of those. Let's see if these trucks are going to fit on this. Loving it. Am I? No, I'm not. It doesn't turn enough. What is binding it up? Shoot! I followed the directions. It's because it's hitting. I see what it's doing. This area right here is really close to that. So it's binding. And I did not look at the directions enough. Dang it! That hole's supposed to be drilled off center, not centered. It's supposed to be right back there. What does a guy do? There's just mistakes after mistakes after mistakes on this thing. Can I fill that with solder and do it again? Let's do some research. I just found problem number 2. This whole thing is a nightmare. These right here are too thick. See, this doesn't even go down. This is hitting the top, and the worm gear is not splined into the other gears. You see that these blocks are flush inside, and here you see that they're not. They can't go in. Wish I would have known this before I spent a whole bunch of money on it. Well, going back in, I'm going to Google if I can solder Zamek. We need to drill holes for the motor to go in also. Why they didn't put them all the way through is beyond me. I am not impressed with this thing anymore. It's making me crabby. I tried to get this in there and grind off some on the back. These little fangs are in my way. So I'm going to get this in there. I'm going to carve those out of the way so I can get this in there and carve the back down some or do whatever I got to do. Then I'm going to try to zing the top off and see if that's going to work for us. I'm at the 13th hour here. We got to come up with something. Well, I got my hole problem solved with a little hand filing. And I didn't want to hand file the thickness of this off. And I'm thinking, well, what the heck? Oh, yeah. I got one of these also. Just been sitting out in the shed waiting to go to work. Let's make a fast work of it. That makes kind of a mess, but let's see if I got something here to write home about now. Come on, baby. Come on, we got more truck cornering. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes. All right. We're moving forward. Scared me there. I thought, what happened on this side? This one doesn't seem to roll as good. Oh, I got to do more carving. That's what's going on. Right there and there. Okay, well, I can solve that. We're going to solder some wires onto these. I'm going to have to drill some holes to get that motor bolted in also. Guess we'll get this one out of the way. I probably got to do the same modification to it too. This kit building stuff is kind of a hassle. Yeah, see, I need to clean this part out here because that's what, okay. They don't explain that very good, the directions, I'm finding out. Just eyeballed them holes, centering it up. This does say front on it, and the motor really only does want to go in one way. And if these are going to screw in, I'm going to be pretty surprised. This project is, nothing's really worked well on it. I don't know why it would start now. I did drill the holes just a little oversized compared to the shank. So in case I didn't get them completely centered, there'd be just a little tiny bit of slop to adjust. And so far, my plan seems to be working. So I've grabbed a hold of every one of those. I like these screw-in motor mounts compared to the rubbery ones. Especially since you can't find the rubber ones anymore. Wish I'd hurry up and make another batch. A couple wires right there. Is this thing even in straight? And I don't think so. It does look like it's tipped a little bit this way. All four tight again. Yeah. Oh yeah. Them trucks, that's amazing now. We really got it. And I sat around and I bought just every dog bone I could find on the Amazon for these things. I didn't know, I've never used one of these Genesis motors before. So their drive lines are different. They use this hex that goes into this end here. And then you've got this little guy that goes into this end over here. And you can see I'm that much too short. That upset me. And somehow, I don't know how I did it, I got some of these things right here from A-line, universal hex drive couplings. I couldn't believe it. It's got a hex on it. You can make your own length, cut it, stick it on there, cut it short. There, you're done. Clean these up a little bit. They've got the flash on them right here because it's got to be able to fit in the end of the motor. So these go in here, and then I decide how much I need to cut off, and then we'll assemble it all together for drive lines. Looks like I can do this one more time. And why this one doesn't have a hole all the way through, which is beyond me. That doesn't make them very universal. For this one here, I can slide it all the way through. What do these ones look like? One's got a hole, one doesn't have a hole. And I'm hoping this is the kind of plastic that a feller can glue. So let me work on these, see how deep this is inside here. How much can we stick in? Oh, it looks like it's about that deep. So what is that? About 3/8 of an inch. So we'll cut off 3/8. Is this going to work for me? Yes. Looks like a 1/4 inch would have been a little better. Do we have wheel turnage? Oh, we sure do. Let me make another one up. Solder these wires up. We'll be ready for a test drive. This here is just a DC board out of an Atlas. It's something I had laying around waiting to go to work. It's got this 8-pin connector in it right here, which allows it to work on DC. There is not a decoder in this thing. This just makes it easier to wire up. So the right-hand rail, this is the front of the locomotive. Right-hand rail, red, red, black, black, and then it tells us positive and negative for the motor coming in right there. This board is actually for this CMR up here, this GP9. Get this little filler out, twist the wick, and away we go. The appropriate light, lighten up. It's hard to tell because, you know. Sure. Out of nothing but parts. Nothing but pieces parts. Let's get that body on there. I got to put some couplers on it, put the body on, then we can do the reveal. Using the 242 universal black boxes. 148 whisker standards. And one 256 by 5/16 inch machine screw. Coupler in the box. Put the lid on the box with the word Katie sticking up. Trim the slash off right here. Put her in upside down. Screw the screw in. Yep. Let's clean up all my stuff and do a final run. some work to get it to that right there. And some of you sharp-eyed fellers out there notice that it ain't got no hand railings on it. Well, now that I see that they're available again from A-line, I'm just going to order up a set of those. I was going to build them, but of course I also underestimated my skill sets in knocking something like this out, because it took forever. We ain't got no number boards on it, because I'm hoping maybe somebody's got an idea, a secret. They're like, hey, I know where you can get number boards for those. And you cut it out with a Dremel and put the lights in it, put the lights in the back. It's not done yet, is what I'm trying to say. It could have more features to it. I need to get the right DCC board in there, the DC, but this would really be a good candidate for DCC with ditch lights. And I don't know if it's got a beacon or not, if Union Pacific uses those, but it'd be nice to make like a real Cadillac out of it. It's kind of what I've always dreamed of. And I don't got enough time to do it in one video, so we'll be seeing this one again, I'm sure. I want to thank all the 33%ers for hanging out with us till the end of the video. Love you guys out there and all your support. Our classic model of the week, June Carter Cash. Also want to thank all the channel members. We've got a few new channel members that have jumped on board. You guys help support the club layout. It's kind of like you guys are members, sort of. We will see you guys again next week. If you want to do a little binge watching, check out this video right here. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.